Continuation.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. This is the Aged Care Bill 2024. Quite a tome. But in this volume, you can't get the feeling and the emotion and the hurt and the angst and the despair and the anxiety of regional people for whom aged care is so important. I understand it is important for everybody, but particularly in regional communities where lately all too many older Australians who've given so much for this country have had to be shipped out to far-flung towns to get care in their twilight years, and this is simply not good enough. And this document that won't extol just how bad that is for those families of those loved ones who are forced to not be able to get ageing in place. And I spoke this morning to Ross Tout. He was for 14 years the chairman of Uralba Aged Care in Gundagai. He's now the vice chairman of that organisation. It is fully booked, 19 beds, all occupied by wonderful Gundagai people. Now, Gundagai is a very hilly town, and Uralba Lodge, Uralba Aged Care, is right next door to the hospital. Now, the MPS needed to be right next door to the Aged Care Centre in order to receive federal funding when it was opened in 2011. And it's almost like an episode out of Yes Minister. And I will recall that The Compassionate Society, Season 2, Episode 1, where you had Jim Hacker and Sir Humphrey Appleby talking about the best performing hospital in Britain. And the nurse who was talking to them said, "Minister, it's one of the best run hospitals in the country. It's up for a Florence Nightingale Award." And Jim Hacker sort of saying, "It's functioning now." Yes, it was functioning, but it didn't have any patients. And I mean, it's almost laughable. It was doing so well because it had no patients, so it was meeting all the criteria that a good hospital should, just for the mere fact that there weren't any patients in it. And why I mention that is because at Uralba they've got a lift which joins on this hillside location the Aged Care Centre and the MPS. And it's only been used, according to Ross Tout, about 10 times. And do you know why that is so? It's because there's a differentiation between the state and the federal departments that run these facilities, and what they do, rather than turn the lift on, unlock the lift and put the patients in the aged care centre who need to go sort of to the MPS, to the hospital, they call an ambulance. And rest assured, there's just 50 metres separating these two facilities. 50 metres. But wait for it, the ambulance station is not that far away either. You could measure it in metres as well. So they call the ambulance to pick up elderly patients in one facility and take them next door, because the state and the federal governments, the departments, cannot agree about funding. And this is right up with Yes Minister. And this happened to Ross Tout's father, Ian, 89 years old, a fellow who is a wonderful Australian, given so much to this country, and you have a situation such as that which is just ridiculous. You've got these Tor Street facilities right next door to one another, and then you have AMBOs, as good as they are, and they don't mind because They're locals. They love their community. They do everything that they can for their communities, and they have to drive up and get the patients and take them right next door. And the aged care situation in Australia is dire in regional Australia, and it is dire because you had a situation with a Royal Commission, and no one denies that Royal Commissions should not be very much adhered to in the main by governments which bring them on. But when you have recommendations and then ministers not frightened to even so much as challenge a recommendation, and I mention here the situation with the 24/7 nurses, you have regional communities right across my electorate, right across the member for Parkes electorate, which takes up half of New South Wales. I no doubt the member for Forrest has them too in Western Australia, who facilities can't find registered nurses to fulfil the requirements that the aged care recommendations said were necessary. And you've got situations there where, as we had in Coolum and Alloway Lodge, where they had to close an entire wing, one of their 3 wings of that facility, where they couldn't find enough nurses, they couldn't find enough staff, and so they closed an entire wing of the Alloway Lodge. Now, fortunately, they've been able to, using immigration visas, they've been able to fill those vacancies, and well done to Tony Donoghue, the General Manager of the local council which owns and operates the facility, Alloway Lodge, for being able to do that, and the community for going along with it, and that is fantastic. But you also get the situation with Weddon Shire at Grenfell, and the situation there. They have difficulty, and I was very pleased that Weddon Health Council members, Chair Peter Moffat OAM, Peter Spedding, the then Mayor Craig Bembrick, at the office of Regional Health Minister McBride, were able to meet, and I was very pleased that they were able to put their situation forward about the capital investment they need, but also the situation with local aged care concerns. It wasn't that long ago that the aged care centre at Harden, the little twin towns there, Harden Murrumburra, which had acquired a community paid-for, fully subscribed facility from Geelong years ago, moved it into the twin towns, and then for all number of reasons, particularly brought about by the then operators, just closed it overnight, virtually. And that led to so much heartache and despair in the community. And it's important to note that the regions are doing it tough, particularly trying to find the staff, trying to find the registered nurses. And why is it fair? Why is it right? Of course it's not. That people who live in a community all their lives reach what should be their golden years, and all of a sudden, because of a lack of beds brought about by provisions in a Royal Commission, that they have to shuffle those people out of town and to communities that they are not familiar with, far away from the communities they've lived in and loved all their lives, and all of a sudden they then don't see the people, their families, and particularly in the case of couples who are married for decades, separated for the first time in many, many years because of funding arrangements, because of provisions of lack of staffing. It's just not right. It's almost inhumane, and especially if one of the members of the couple might have early dementia, or and they love seeing their partner, and all of a sudden they're not able to do that. Their partner doesn't have a driver's licence, and these are very real and, whilst very real situations that I hear about, and no doubt the member for Parkes hears about just about every day of the week, and it's simply not good enough. And recently we had Salvation Army divesting its residential aged care services in Parkes. Now, Parkes is a big community, 12,000 people, and the Rosedale Maid Aged Care Centre and Retirement Village in Parkes was just closed. Fortunately, the Moyne Aged Care Centre in Canowindra, just outside in the electorate of Calare, was acquired by Rosanna Care Group, but the situation for Parkes is not resolved, is not good enough, and for an organisation like the Salvos, many regional people have given mightily to that, and it is a wonderful charity. But on this occasion, they have failed the community of Parkes. They've failed the people who they should be looking after. 45 residents will be displaced with no clear sight as to which facility they will be rehomed. And it does require urgent intervention. It's simply not good enough. The council's working hard with local families to rectify the situation, but it's very worrying, as is some of the provisions of the aged care situation at the moment.
I thank the member for Riverina.